Having removed the front bumper, we're now going to remove the fender. Okay, before we can remove the fender, we need to take off the front bumper, which we've already done. We need to make sure that we can get to these two bolts that come into the underside here. So if you raise the vehicle on a jack, just be sure you can do that. You don't need to raise this vehicle up on a jack to change the fender, that's no problem. By the way, in the UK we call a fender a wing. So if I call it a wing, I mean a fender. I try real hard to use the word fender, but it's not natural for me. So first we'll remove the mud guards from underneath, which are just held on with some trim clips. Then we need to remove 9 bolts and a hidden nut, which is just inside here. We lift the wing off, job done. Very easy. We've got the car up on a 2-post lift for this job. The only reason is it's easier to film when the car's higher up. You don't need to do this. Just work your way around the mud guard, undoing the bolts and clips. We've got all sorts of random clips holding this on, completely mismatched. It's obviously been replaced in the past. Some with cross heads, some with slot heads, some carpet clips. It's a jumble sale. Now we're going to remove this upper mud guard here. So with these trim clips, we want to hold the outside and then rotate the inside just slightly until it comes out. And then we use a trim clip remover to get in behind and just pop that clip out. So with the mudguard removed, we can now undo the bolts and nuts that hold the wing on. Let's start with the trickiest one, which is just inside here, inside the door reveal. There's a nut just on the other side here, and the way to access that is to come in from the inside of the wheel arch with a long extension bar, a 10mm socket, get onto this nut and undo it there. So we'll go in there and do that now. Now that we've removed that tricky nut, we can work our way around the wing, undoing the bolts. I'll start with the ones at the bottom. The reason being, as we undo the top ones, it's very easy to just lift the wing off. Whereas if we start at the top, undo these bolts first, then we find ourselves underneath the car, undoing the bottom ones, the wing is going to fall on our head or we have to struggle to support it. So I tend to work from the bottom up when I'm removing things. There's 9 bolts remaining, 4 on the top, 2 at the front, 2 underneath and 1 in the corner here. So my cunning plan to leave clearance to undo these bolts has backfired slightly. I can't actually get a socket onto this one, so we'll use a ratchet spanner to undo this. There's plenty of rust on the underside of the wing here, so let's hope that comes off nice and easily. And we've got 1 in here on the corner of the wing. And the last one. So with all the bolts removed, we just lift off the wing and we need to disconnect the wiring for the side repeater. So with the wiring disconnected, we can remove the wing. On this one, you can see quite a bit of rust down here. So obviously with the mud and leaves that I've got in there, the mud guard on this car is not particularly great. Make sure you take care of the wing when you store it. They are fragile. Store it somewhere safe.